Hey, what's up? I'm Cody the Coin Raptor, and today I want to talk about the largest one-day drop in the Bitcoin price since December. But before we get to that, be sure to smash that subscribe button, see my latest content, and check out my Twitter account for the most up-to-date information. So Bitcoin today has had a pretty massive red day. It's been down as much as 5%. Right now it's at about 4% or so, but it has basically been the largest day that we've seen since December right here. December when it was down a little over 4% in the middle of December. But I think that it's possible we'll wind up getting back to that 5% number. Now, one other thing that's been very important to point out with Bitcoin is this daily RSI that I've been watching. So Bitcoin spent about, call it 12, about 17 days in this high RSI, and that's above 78. So it spent 17 days above that incredibly high daily RSI. So we were looking for Bitcoin to actually come back down again, and a pullback at this stage would definitely be necessary given the fact that it spent so high above that level, extremely overbought. And so I was looking for a pullback here. I saw that the volume was decreasing here. In addition to that, it seemed like it could not break out here above the resistance of about, call that 23,800. It could not push above that resistance level, and that is proving to be really stubborn resistance. In fact, if I go and I put up my resistance band right here, we can see that we're basically right in the middle of it as part of that heavy resistance level here. So now we have support at about 22,600. I don't know how long that's going to hold, but for now, it does seem to be holding. And if we zoom in a little bit, take a look at the hourly, we can see that we've actually gone below that amount here, and we've come all the way down to about 22,500. It seems kind of like it might be a little bit of a fake out, but given the fact that we've seen continued continued movement in that direction, I think we're probably going to come back down even further at that point. So the next support level, if this fails, is going to be down here at about 22,400. And then the next level below that is going to be about 22,300. And then below that, there's really not a lot of support or resistance until you get to the support level here at 21,500. And what I was pointing out this morning on my Twitter account is that if you take a look at the 200-hour moving average, you can see that this 200-hour moving average has been very strong support for Bitcoin. It has not gone below it until it did that this morning. And in fact, it broke below it violently, coming all the way down here, losing 1.5% in about an hour, and pushed right through that level. So it has lost that support of the 200 hourly. And right now, what we're looking at is to see whether or not it can hold this support level at 22,600. But from my perspective, it looks like it's not going to be able to hold that. It's very dependent on what's going on this week, however, because there is so many events going on this week. If you guys are interested in hearing about them, check out the video that I made on Saturday describing all the crazy events we're going to see this week that's going to have a massive amount of volatility. So we could wind up seeing Bitcoin just go anywhere at this point. I mean, we could see it go above 23,900. We could see it break below this point here at 22,600 and go even lower than that. It can go all the way down to the 200-week moving. We can go down to the 200-day moving average, which if you go and you take a look at the daily, what you're looking at right now is about here or so. 19,600. So anything's really on the table for Bitcoin. But I do think that the upside resistance has been so strong right now that if Bitcoin moves to the upside and tries to push out further this resistance band, it's going to be met with a lot of sellers stepping in. There's a lot of bag holders from this whole area back here in August and July when it tried to move above those levels. And then we can see incredibly strong resistance here at this point, which was the May low that we made for Bitcoin. So there's a lot of overhead resistance. And right now, I'm just waiting to see how this plays out. I would definitely like to buy Bitcoin at this 200 this 200-day moving average here at about 19,600, but I'm not in any rush right now. I think that it's definitely possible that we can get some more legs lower. And in fact, having a pullback at Bitcoin at this point would definitely be healthy, because after you have a massive run up like this, it needs time to consolidate and then push higher. It doesn't just go up in a straight line or diagonally, right? It doesn't just go like this the whole time. There's nuances in it. It actually goes, it ebbs and it flows. It goes down a little bit, it goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit, goes up a little bit, and then you get kind of a balanced price action. So that's definitely what I'm looking for this week. Now, with Bitcoin, if we go ahead and take a look at the funding rate, we can see here that the funding rate is still very nice for longs. Longs are still strong. Longs are still dominant. Even though we've had this kind of minor capitulation going on here, longs are still powerful right now, and they're still in position to take advantage of a move higher. Now, this definitely makes me feel like the fact that since the longs have not capitulated as much, that we could be looking at a potential bull trap right here, but I don't think that that's a guarantee. That's kind of a hint at that from what I'm seeing right now, and I'm definitely willing to, I want to go ahead and see how this plays out first before I can make a call on that. All right, next, I want to go ahead and talk to you about the Bitcoin exchange reserve. So this is how many Bitcoins are actually on the exchanges, and that still continues to be incredibly low. All the Bitcoin on all the exchanges are being bought. I mean, we can see here that at some point it was above 3 million, and now it's actually below this 2.25 million all the way down here, and it's just gotten lower and lower and lower and lower. We saw a little minor uptick here in the past couple of days. It seems like we have some sellers stepping in here and putting their Bitcoin on the exchange. So we're actually starting to see some sellers come in here. And in fact, if you go and you take a look at the CoinGlass liquidation data, we can see here that looking at Bitcoin specifically, that Bitcoin long liquidations have hit $45 million in the past day or so. So there have been significant long liquidations in this little move down that we've seen for the Bitcoin price. Next, I want to make sure I talk about the MVT Golden Cross. MVT Golden Cross is used to identify potential tops, okay? And basically what happens here is as this line moves into this red area, it does tend to signal most of the time a Bitcoin top. We take a look at that and we compare it to price data. We can see that it's mostly been accurate, including back here in December where it kind of signaled a bit of a top and then it fell off. It fell off extremely here all the way down. So what we're starting to see right now is that it's actually coming back up again into the red zone. And so what that means is that we are likely to see another Bitcoin topping formation play out. This is not the most up-to-date data right now. This is about since January 28th. So it's entirely possible that it's already started to come back down again. We take a look at the price and we can see that it really matches up very nice with the price. And this is something I'll be watching over the next coming days. And if this also happens to just keep going up, that means that the top has yet to play out, okay? So what we'll generally see here is we'll see this kind of like a rounding of this top here, and then the price will fall after that. So that's something I'm looking for. And if this is definitely true, if it's accurate right now, we are heading towards a topping formation for Bitcoin. But again, this data is a couple of days old. So if you were looking at this on the 28th, then that would have probably been a little bit more accurate. And you could have said on the 28th, well, it seems like we're approaching a top. But we'll have to look at this data as I can get it and as it's available to me. But right now, it looks like we are somewhere near a Bitcoin top, according to the NVT Golden Cross. Now, I also want to go ahead and take a look at miners' reserves. So this is the amount of money in miners' wallets, and we've also seen a flattening of this. We have not seen a rise. We've seen a little bit of a rise going into the January, the first couple of weeks of January, and then we saw it kind of come down significantly. So what this means to me is that the miners have still been selling a little bit, okay? So the miners' reserve is still continuing, despite the fact that the price has gone up significantly. We can see this huge downslope happen here, right? So the number of Bitcoin in miners' wallets has decreased significantly as miners are selling into this big rally here. Now that being said, miners are under much less stress right now, and so they're a little bit less incentivized to sell at a loss, and many of them are probably selling at a gain right now. In fact, we've looked at profitability indicators in the past, and those profitability indicators have shown us that they're actually doing a lot better than they were in the past. So right now, it looks like they're just taking advantage of the situation, and they're selling some of their coins and their wallets in order to meet the demand for all the buyers coming in. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, very important, network difficulty, which is this measure of how difficult it is to mine a new block for the blockchain. So with Bitcoin, when the network difficulty goes up, you do tend to see miners having to work a little bit harder in order to mine that next block. As the difficulty gets higher, this kind of goes in correlation, positive correlation with the hash rate. So as the hash rate goes up, the difficulty tends to go up as well. And when this goes up, usually it's not a good sign for miners, but it's a good sign for the blockchain as a whole, because it further secures the blockchain and it makes it even more difficult for somebody to conduct an attack, a 51% attack, because you have to have more hashing power in order to get that 51%. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Ethereum now. Ethereum is still playing out in this sideways channel. What you're looking at right now is this 1500 level, and this 1500 level of support is probably going to stay support for the near future. But right now, the price is at 1560, 1565, and I expect that Ethereum is going to continue into the sideways channel. And if this support level fails here at 1505, you're probably looking at the 200-day moving average to be the next support. That's going to be 1435. All right. And let's look at Binance Coin as well. So with Binance Coin, what you're seeing here is a very similar move to Ethereum, in which it is not really going anywhere. It's just kind of going sideways for a little bit. It did have kind of a big day down today, just like with Ethereum. But as a whole, we have not really seen a breakdown in the same way that we've seen Bitcoin break down. And what's interesting about this is right now you have that 200-day moving average that's lining up very nicely with the support level that I've put in here at 284. So look for 284 to be hard support for Binance Coin. And this resistance level has not been able to be breached at this point. It almost looks like a double top pattern is playing out right here, where you have November and then you have this January topping formation. And if that's the case, if that is the case, and this is a double top, then you're going to see a significant retreat of the Binance Coin price, probably all the way back down here to about 264, maybe even below that level. So with Binance Coin, though, it's going to depend entirely upon how well Bitcoin does and how well Ethereum does. I definitely think that over the next couple of days, we're going to see some increased volatility. So that's something I'm preparing myself for. I've got cash sitting on the sidelines waiting for a major dip, and I'm going to be putting that money to work very soon. Okay? So that's all I've got for you guys today. If you like this content, let me know. Like, subscribe, and go ahead and leave a comment. Now, what are you guys looking at? What metrics do you guys watch regularly? Do you think that the NVT Golden Cross could be right here, in which Bitcoin's kind of reaching a topping pattern right now? I'm definitely curious about what you guys have to say. So leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.